truth. About what?
Here is the truth about the real estate market and interpreting the statistics.
A little bit more of an in-depth analysis of the real estate market. It's November, so just wanted to compare the peak, which was March of 2022, to now, which is, we're in November, but this is up until the end of October. A lot of the market reports you see out there are just comparing the last year to this year, so it kind of gives you a bit of a false sense. Well, it does give you a sense what's happened year over year, but not what's happened in the intervening time. So give you an example, in March there was 730 condos that sold. In October there was 218 condos that sold. And that's a drop of 71% from March until October. So that's, we were expecting now with interest rates. Also like to look at the sales to listing ratio, sale price to listing price. This just gives us an idea as well as how active the market was. In March, on the average, condominiums were selling for 100% of list price. In October, that had changed. It was 97%. So you could see that in October, prices were down. We'll go over that next. But you could see that they were having a little bit more negotiating room. 3% might not seem like a lot, but on a $100,000 purchase, that's $3,000. On a $300,000 condominium, that's $10,000. So it just shows you that there is some negotiating going on and happening in the market. And then as well, I'd like to look at the average list price, or the average sale price, I'd like to look at the average sale price. So the average sale price for a condo in March was $588,901. The average sale price in October was $519,857. So the prices had gone down by 12% between March and October. So that is a trend that we've been seeing, and you've been reading that and seeing that in the news. So next thing I'd like to do is go over townhouses and just compare townhouses March of 2022 to October of 2022. In March of 2022, there was 555 townhouses that sold. In October, there was 173 townhouses that had sold. So that was a decrease in sales of 69% between March and October. So that's a little bit less than what condominiums were. Condominiums were down 71% as far as the number of sales, and townhouses are down 69%. So some of that can be accounted for the fact that people that were out looking at single family and got priced out of the market with the way prices were changing. Also, if we look at the list price to sale price for townhouses in March, the average was 104%. So in March, the people were actually paying 4% over, an average of 4% over list price. And in October, people were actually paying 97% of list price. So that's a fairly significant difference. That is a 7% difference between March and October. And so that's quite a bit more difference than condominiums. Condominiums was a 3% difference between March and October. And also, let's look at the average sales price. The average sales price in March was $920,000. The average sale price in October was $788,813. So that was down 15% from the peak. So we can see that the townhouses are down a little bit more. Condominiums were down 12%, and townhouses are down 15%. So, and then lastly, like to look at single family houses. Single family houses in March, there was 846 that sold. In October, there was 230 that sold. So that was 73% less homes sold in October rather than in March. So that's a fairly significant drop. It's more than townhouses, 69%, and more at condos at 71%. So you can see, what's happened as far as, people not even being able to afford single-family detached homes anymore. So they're moving down into the lower price ranges. Now, if we look at sales to listing ratio, sales price to list price ratio, in March, it was 103%. So people in March were paying an average of 3% over the list price. And in October, people were paying an average of 95%. So again, there's an 8% difference between the list price, the sale price to the list price. So people are negotiating more, but we can see kind of across the board that there is more room for negotiating. People are negotiating more than they were. Now, if we look at the average sale price, the average sale price for single family in March was $1,786,739. The average sale price in October was $1,385,325. So you can see that's quite a difference. That's actually a drop of 23%. So that's where we've seen the largest drop is in single-family homes because people, they're just not affordable anymore. So we can see 23% price drop in single-family, 15% in townhouses, and 12% in condominiums. And that kind of makes sense because with interest rates going up, people aren't able to afford as much anymore. But an interesting stat as well is if we just look, and this actually quite surprised me, if we looked at March, in March, 34% of the sales were condominiums, 26% of the sales were townhouses, and 40% were single-family houses. Now, this came as a surprise to me, but it didn't actually change a whole lot in October. I thought it would have changed more. In October, 35% of the sales were condominiums, as opposed to 34% in March. Townhouses were 28%, as opposed to 26% in March. So both of them were up just slightly. Where we saw the change was in single-family houses. In March, 40% of the sales were single-family houses, whereas in October, 37% of the sales were in single-family houses.
And I'll tell you what surprised me.
Now, this surprised me quite a bit because I thought that with the prices changing, we would have seen a larger percentage of the sales being in condominiums and townhouses, but that doesn't seem to be the case. So I just wanted to let you know what is going on in the market, and just please subscribe and share. And looking forward to talking to you about the market, everyone, next month.